Okay. I don't know if the stream has started, because guess who didn't open the... Nope. Oh no. I keep clicking all the wrong things. Yay! Alright. So hopefully... Okay. Hopefully this is working. So I look a lot less professional today because I don't have my glasses on. Honestly, it looks weird. I've gotten so used to them. I can still see its distance that's tougher, and they have a built-in like blue light blocking that I find really nice. Um, all I can do. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out where is my why is YouTube Studio not showing me what I'm doing right now? Which is supposed to be streaming. We'll refresh it. It's fine. It's great. Hey, 52 people have seen my February streaming schedule. Heck yeah. All right. Let's go to my live videos. There it is. All right, put me in the control room so that I know it's actually working. All right, says excellent. Here we go. Yay, it does work. It has been working the whole time. Okay. So today is going to be slightly different than yesterday. Yesterday I talked through some of the research I'm doing for an upcoming project, and today I have a repair that I need to make on my ventilation system. So I'm going to put on some chill lo-fi music in the background while I work on that, and I'll periodically pop in with important fun facts about what I'm doing, maybe. Um, so I get to kind of see whether I'm really hoping it's just some wires got disconnected and I need to connect them better. That would be a much easier thing to fix than having to replace the fan, which I guess I could technically do. I have an extra one. Um, yeah. So if I put that in terms of the scientific method, which I'm going to be trying to put just about everything I do into that category. So the observation I made was that you can pull the little chain and it makes a noise but doesn't, you can't hear the um, fan turning. So I'm assuming it won't turn on. And hoping that maybe it's just a disconnected wire and I can just unplug and open everything up and look at it and go, ooh, there's the thing I need to fix, and then fix it and then close the thing up again. So fingers crossed that's what we're dealing with. I'm gonna go ahead and set the Pomodoro timer. The Pomodoro timer is gonna remind me to take a break after 50 minutes. So if this does turn into me trying to diagnose exactly what's wrong with this thing, I don't do it for too long. Because I don't want to get so sucked into it that it's A, no longer fun to watch, and B, no longer fun for me to be perceived at all. Because I'm just frustrated and angry that my fan won't work and I might have made it worse. Alright, so Pomodoro timer, where are ya? Scripts? Okay. Alright, we are going to... Ooh, we're gonna move that where you can actually see it better. Oop, nope, not the image. Okay. No, Pomodoro timer. I want the Pomodoro timer. Why is it? Oh, because I locked it so that I couldn't move it. Oops. Nope. That's the one I need to lock, so I can't mess with it. Okay, now, if I want to move that, oh god, selecting the right thing is sometimes a pain in the butt. All right, I'm moving the timer around. Moved the timer around. Now, start the timer with the Sabrina the Teenage Witch sound. Uh, if it's familiar to you, then you are probably similar in age to me. Um, yes. Hello, early 30s friends, and some of you older and some of you younger. If you're, a millennial or, somewhere nearby in the generational spectrum, then yeah, you probably do know what that noise is. All right. So Pomodoro timer has been started, which means I need. Oh, first things first, I'm going to move the camera. And to move the camera, because that involves shifting. Well, I did have a thing to cover up the camera that makes moving it around not so painful to watch, but I'm just going to cover it with my hand, move it, and then, woo, reveal. So come with me if you want to live. Realizing what I didn't quite do was, there we go, make sure. Ta-da! Yay, vent fan. Oops. Just be floating by. Alright, so I have a ladder. You know what I didn't do? Put the soothing music on in the background. Ooh, it is plugged in though, so at least. All I have to do is turn it on. Alright, so the issue I was having is that every time I try to turn this sucker on, it's just buzzing. It's not, the fan's not actually turning on. Which is not what I wanted to do. I wanted to actually turn on. Also, yes, that was a claw hammer. Because I can't quite reach it, because I'm eventually going to cast little, doohickeys to extend these lovely little fan pull chains, so that I can just reach up and boop. But for now, it's easiest for me to just wield the hammer and use that. But if I want to crack this open and check out the electronics, I don't want it plugged in. So first things first, I gotta figure out this fan, follow the cord, unplug. You want to be ultra, ultra sure. I'll do this, and hopefully it makes no noise. Absolutely no noise. Excellent, that's what I want. Yeah, the other thing I should do, put on some kind of safety glasses. I think they're in this. Okay, now I'm wearing my glasses. Sorry, I put them in the other room. Oh, the other thing I'm noticing actually is that I didn't unplug the air plug, so I'm gonna see if that makes a difference. I don't think it will, because I was having issues with it the other day. Just deciding it didn't want to work anymore. So turning it back on to test it one more time. Alright, fan is plugged in. Let's see if that made a difference. Nope. Oh, something. Ooh. Okay. Still not working. Unplugging it again. Because unplugging is the fun part. Okay. Okay, cool. I am actually in frame. Okay, artichoke. So I've got some duct tape. Fun fact, this is duct tape. So the stuff we use for all kinds of like weird crafts and for just generally sticking all of the things back together, especially in high school. I don't know what it is about being in high school and loving duct tape, but this is what it's actually made for, I'm pretty sure. Also extra special tape for ducts, which is what this is, which is why I'm not. Alright, so looks like all the wires are still connected to my little electric switch. So I'm still gonna throw some easy listening music on in the background so that if I'm doing something where the action is making it difficult for me to concentrate on what I'm saying at the same time, that you're not having to just listen to me figure something out. Or listen to me try and talk while I'm reasoning something out. I need to fill the dead air. Alright, here we go. Now, I need you to play it on the studio speaker. There we go. Ooh. No, don't invite people to a jam. Stop that. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna disconnect these wires and then reconnect them in the form that they need to be connected in. For me just to see if it's just the motor. So to avoid having to solder anything, I'm just using these special little plastic end caps that have like metal on the inside. I screw onto the ends of wires. You twist the wires together and then you twist this little guy on there. And it keeps the wires nice and connected. So there's nothing physically obstructing the fan, so I'm assuming whatever this problem is electrical, like the motor died or something. plug it in and see if that works. See what it does. Now it's just making that noise. It's interesting. The fan is turning, but it's not. It's turning really slowly. I'm gonna see how much duct tape I have, because if I have enough, I'm just gonna bring the whole thing down here. And re-tape later. Oh yeah, this will cover a couple of ducts. And it's far enough away from heat that I'm not really worried about it. Because I know this, we use the special shiny tape for higher temperature, like ductwork that's going to have to withstand higher temperatures. And this duct, this portion of the duct really isn't gonna have to. Alright, so it's just taped in place. So all I really have to do is cut the tape. Left my utility knife down here. Alright, it's unplugged. I can't reach that safely. Alright, so now I have this fan, but I can't really see where the motor meets the fan. I can see the fan from the fan perspective. I guess I could just pull the fan blade off and check it that way. Or there's screws here and screws here, and I can just take the whole motor assembly out. Which honestly would be the easiest. Alright, we're gonna pull stuff apart. So I need to readjust the camera to focus on my desk while I pull this apart. Means the computer's gotta go somewhere. I would have so much desk space if I didn't have so many projects going at the same time. Okay. turn this around. So that y'all will be able to see. Actually, I'm gonna move the, ooh, maybe I'm not moving the tripod. Here we go. I don't know if I could spin my chair. Oh, I can. I can. Yay! Okay. Oh, I have no control over the sound volume of the music. Dang it. This is why I don't like tripods, and I bought my little wall mounted doohickey. Okay. Okay, just a fan. Honestly, this thing is so covered in dust. I should probably make my life easier for myself while I'm doing this. Lay out a cloth. That way those, I can see the screws I'm taking out better. Alright, almost able to, it's easy enough to just shove the electrical wiring through the case so we can see it. Oh, we got a sticky one. Got this one. Okay, that one's fine. Oh, it got stuck in the other one's bonnet. Ooh, it looks like it might have gotten painted. I think it might just be stuck to the paint job. Let's see if scuffing that up a little will help. Jesus. Let's see if I can. Oh, okay. I moved the interior part to see if I can unstick this. Still having issues. Ooh, motor's all warm. That's unfortunate. Okay. Because this stupid thing is the only thing keeping the motor still inside the need to see the motor in order to figure out what the ever-loving crap is going on. Oh, there we go. Yay! This is how most repair projects go, where you like fight with it for a little while. There's one screw that will not unscrew. And you're like, but that will get me to where I can see everything else. Alright, so we're gonna bring the fan part out. That's the whole purpose of doing this, but I have to make sure that the cord, which is attached to the fan, can come out. So we got this. Here's our fan. And it's all kind of a mess. As you can see, I'm now covered in soot. Yay for me. So I'm gonna wipe it down. Wipe it down with this microfiber cloth. It's not necessarily going to help with my motor problems, but I like to I was gonna say I like to try and keep things clean, but I don't generally. I'm trying to demonstrate better habits when I take things apart, like cleaning them as I go. We're gonna take the fan blade off. The motor is what I'm concerned with. There we go. It's pretty apparent that this is where the fan's gonna go. Once I have a minute to check this out. All right, now. Oh, that looks all right. Neither of those is going anywhere. Ground switch is grounded. Great, okay. Covered in soot, but that's not altogether unusual. This is Essential Chill Help from 2016. Like 10 years ago. This was the hip thing to listen to. Alright, I could just blow this dust out of here with a one of those little condensed air canisters, but I don't want the dust to go everywhere on my studio setup, so we're gonna see if we can plug this in and if there's anything else that's keeping this from turning on. Just very carefully. Oh, see, now it's spinning. Now it stopped spinning. What the hell? Okay, something's just interfering with its ability to spin. That's what I'm thinking. Something's getting in the way. I don't know what yet though, but unplugged it. I figure let's deconnect this part. Or disconnect this part. So I can see what's going on. Taking these screws out. Let me make sure that I've got the if I lose the screws for putting it back together, that's gonna make my life really hard. That is generally what I end up dealing with. Oh wait, no, it's all together. Okay, perfect. That's got the bolt that needs to be there. This is just the shell of the piece. And the beauty of very simple things like this is that you can have basically just like a basic screwdriver and just pull the thing apart. So if you missed it, I plugged it in, the thing spun for half a second and then stopped. And so I think there might just be something gunking up the works mechanically that's stopping it from turning, which honestly would be best case scenario. Because that's something, if all I gotta do is clean it and then put it back together, and it works, that's really simple and wonderful and what I want to be able to do. But if that's not the case, then if it's something electrical, that makes my life more difficult. But I was making sounds earlier, so I'm going to assume that that means that it's still good to go. All right, these were in here. Maybe not that way, maybe this way. Whoops. Pull these out, I'm not entirely sure how these were in there, but I know they were on here. Okay. Isn't that interesting? I actually know how these are connected. Oh, that just pops right off. Okay. Looks like that, yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, cool. Little ball bearings in there. Alright, I'm gonna clean that out. Clean this out. Actually, I'm gonna wash my hands and then put gloves on because I'm just getting covered in soot. just kind of how these projects go sometimes. Yeah, because that appears to be capable of turning. This is kind of dirty, but I don't know that that's so much the problem. Let's see if we can clean this up and put it back together and see if it works better. the soot off my hands. Grab my gloves so that my hands don't get completely covered in soot and I don't have to wash them 10,000 times. I'm also trying to find, yeah, a relatively clean rag I can wipe this out with. So we're just going to dust it essentially and see if getting the dust off helps it function. Because maybe it's just some built up dust. That is my current hypothesis, is that built up dust is making the electronics work less efficiently. So if I clean out the dust, then hopefully it'll work again. But we're not, yeah, this is the hypothesis that we're working with right now. Also, I'm just gonna wipe this thing down because it's gross. It never gets wiped down because it's up in the air. And I'm so short. This is gonna be the thing that I'm most concerned about getting clean. Try and make sure the motor bits are as clean as possible. Not necessarily want to have to disassemble it any further. I don't think I'll have to. Go in there with a Q-tip. If there was something greasy or grimy that I noticed on there, I might put a little rubbing alcohol on it, but I think for now, just a cursory dusting. Funny thing about electronics, a lot of times when they don't work, it's because their connections between the elements are dirty. So you just clean the contact points where your electrical components touch one another. And clean those, and then it'll start working again. Sometimes it's that simple. Not always. We're hoping it's that simple today, because that's a really straightforward fix for me. Absolutely. So it's a real pain in the butt to get rid of. So just being as thorough as I can. Okay, so there's that. Also have to clear up wiring. Because I know it's all covered in dust. Okay. Now this. It's hard to get in here. This is where I'm really concerned that a lot of the friction is happening. So I'm gonna get a, there we go. A wipe in there. Ooh, yeah, there's quite a bit of gunk in there. That has anything to do with what's been going on. Alright, shift it over here to this side. Ooh, pop it on up. Ooh, I can pop it. Okay. Interesting. Okay. All of those things then. So silver, stainless steel rather component. Ooh. I think honestly this probably wants to be greased up because it's a sort of bearing, like a ball bearing with being a bike wheel. There's so much soot in here. Ooh. I just dropped something, I don't know what it was. Funny how you go in thinking you're not going to completely disassemble an object and then you end up completely disassembling the object. Okay. Like some of this, which is going to go back in here. What direction it goes. There's no. It goes back in there. I'm assuming. Unless this is the part that's broken. But no, I think it goes inside the thing. This one has the same thing going on. When in doubt, use your other the other half of the thing as a reference point. What the? Get a fresh one of these, clean it out again. I popped it out, but it doesn't want to go back in, so whoop-de-doo for me. Mm. I don't know exactly what this is or does, but you can see the little, this is the bit that I'm cleaning, the little bead snaps around in here. So I'm trying to make sure that's clean. Let's go try and bring the camera closer to me. There we go. Sorry. I don't even know if there's anyone watching. Nope. Nope. Okay. Let's see if I can just, oh god. Nope. Okay. Okay, better look at what's happening in here. Those little tabs are bending in when I don't want them to. So I have to see if I can, because I'm trying to just shove it in there. It just didn't. Some of them went backwards, some of them went forwards. So now they're all out of whack. I'm sure there's some ultra specialized tool you could use to do this, but I don't have it, and usually you can make your own tools if you really need to. Trying to see if I can just pop it back in sideways. Maybe. Oop, oop, oop. There we go. Now we're getting there. And I just gotta get these little tabs to push back. Or I push this forward. Where these little tabs are. Oh, there we go. Yay! Okay. Now I got it snapped back in. I'm just gonna make sure this little tab is back in place. I can pop that back on. That is moving a lot more smoothly now. Okay, so I've got that. I know this was aligned like that. Still easy to. Now that I know that little bearing bit is in there, I'm gonna pop this one back out. Make sure it's clean. Thus far, it's not giving me any warning signs. There's not a bunch of soot falling out of this one, so that's good. I'm gonna push this little guy back into place. Okay. Oops. There we go. Okay, now I'm gonna just rotate it. So I snapped it in there. I just gotta rotate it back into place, which will require keeping these little tabs out the way. Like I got it. Alright. Is it supposed to be rotating that much though? Let's see. Alright, now my brake timer just went off. I'm honestly pretty engaged with what I'm doing. Okay, that's looking better. So I'm gonna try and put this back together. Ah, crap, okay. There we go. It's got these, which I think are the same on either side. So popping the motor bit back on, my end bit, screws going through there. I'm assuming. Oh yeah, those are small spacer bits. Okay, cool. It's just kind of going all the way through. Okay, cool. Ooh, is that what I dropped around there? Okay, those are the mounting screws. Trying to see if there's like a spacer. I heard something metal drop earlier. I think it might have been a spacer of some sort. And it might just be lost. Well, I don't know for certain that I dropped anything. I just thought I heard. Sorry, I need to dump. See if there's anything hanging out in the lap. Alright. Yeah, because this is like. This motor's like. moving around a little bit in there. Okay. I don't know if it's supposed to have that much play, but we'll see. Okay. So that's screwed all the way in. And now I just gotta put these little hex nuts back on. If all else fails, I'll pull apart one of my other fans just to look at how it's put together and make sure I haven't screwed this up. See if these are small enough. Almost. Almost for that to fit. Alright, I'm gonna call this tight enough because all we really need to be able to do is test the motor, and I think this will be just fine. Okay. So it's got play in it, but it's not looking too bad. All right, let's see if this works. I don't know if you can hear that. It's spinning. All right, I might have just fixed it. Might have just needed to be cleaned. So it's still wiggling a little bit. I don't know if it's supposed to do that. I'm gonna grab the motor on my other fan that broke, and we're gonna see if this should or shouldn't have this much play, and if it's not supposed to, I'm gonna have to pull it back apart and try and squeeze a washer or something in there so it doesn't wiggle so much. Okay, so my other motor totally does have the same amount of like, it can go back and forth like this. What if really needs to happen is that just needs grease in the it just needs a little lubrication. I wonder if that's really the problem. Alright, we're gonna put the fan blade back on. Oh, that was my break period that I just spent continuing to do my project. Oh cool, got little nubbins fit in there. And then I just screw this all the way back on. Alright, make sure there's nothing near this fan blade. So when it starts spinning, it's not gonna catch on anything and I'm not gonna get hurt. There we go. Technically, I probably shouldn't be making this work without it at least being like held in a... Alright, it can spin freely and my hand's not gonna get in the way. That is a functional fan. It is jingling all the way, but it's a little squeaky, but it worked! I love it when this stuff works. Okay, cool. So I just need to reassemble this guy in the actual fan body. Ooh, now comes the fun part where I'm like, I don't remember what direction the fan went in here. I'm pretty sure it went this way with the fan pointing. Inside, okay, cool. Oh, yep. Because that making the electrical bit shorter again. That fits. And this lines up just perfectly. Whoops. All right, so we fixed a fan, y'all. And I didn't have to replace it or pay anybody to do. Like, I didn't have to buy a new one. I didn't even have to buy any parts for it. All I had to do was take the thing apart and put it back together again. Which honestly, it's impressive how many projects turn out this way. So this is the best case scenario. Oh man, okay. I'm doing kind of a crappy job of getting this to line up properly. So here's what I'm gonna do. I have a thought. If I use something else, like another smaller bolt as a placeholder, I can line these up and then pull the placeholders out. See if I can get this lined up. No, it's like too big. These are so small. Just want something that will hold that in alignment while I line up the other one. There we go. Now, put the world's tiniest bolt in there. That's not the tiniest bolt. I've seen tinier. It's just a very short bolt, and that's a little difficult to work with. Okay, cool. Not tightening that all the way. So that it has a little play, so that I can get the holes perfectly aligned. Put this one in. Again, tightening like 3/4 of the way. And then stopping. All right, we'll tighten both of them a little bit at a time. All right, that one could a little more. There we go. So that's good. Fan is still looking properly aligned in there, which is great. Hey, look, and that's perfectly in line as well. Okay, almost. Okay, cool. That worked. Shove that forward a little bit. Okay, let me equipment through. Okay, shove that forward a little bit. Okay, I'm going to tighten this one up more. Okay. So hopefully this one catches properly. actually fine. There we go. There we go. Fan. Fan that works. Okay, I'm gonna test it one more time. Plug it in, make sure it's doing its job. And then we can mount it back on the exhaust unit. Or exhaust unit, like whatever the. Ugh. Well, it works. But, ooh, the alignment's off. It's hitting the side. And we don't want that. Yeah, it's getting really close to the side. Even hitting the side. Because it needs to be a slightly different angle. Whoopie-doo. I wonder if this is what messed it up in the first place. Alright, so the whole mechanism, like this bar holds everything in place and designates the angle that the fan blade is going. But this guy, the angle of the fan is such that it's scraping against the side, the inside of this, which means this is out of alignment. And I have to figure out how to. Honestly, it's probably just going to be a matter of like trying to bend this, but that's going to be such a pain. I don't necessarily want to try and use the fan itself to like bend the piece of stupid flippin' steel, aluminum, whatever the flip it is. Oop. Okay, we are getting. I shoved it and then I noticed that we're getting give here, and I'm not sure how. Let's see if tightening up. Okay. Take the fan blade off again. I need to make sure these top screws are as screwed in as they possibly can be. They were not quite, now they are. Now these stinking, these guys. I'm gonna get my little socket wrench kit. Or actually, I made up a socket in here. These are magnetic, so they attract dirt. Makes my life slightly harder. Okay, and of course that's not gonna work. Alright, I need my baby socket set, which I've been using on the car. Let me go get my little socket set. It's in the other room because I've been using it to fix the car. Toothpaste emergency. It's not an emergency, but I'll call it an emergency so that the cat knows that I'm not just ignoring him. Okay. That is way smaller. Guess that's an 8mm. Nope, smaller than me. 7. Ooh, looks like it's either a 7 or a 6. Let's try the 6. 6 don't fit, so 7. Honestly, probably a 7.5. Or a 6.5. All right, that's tightening. All right, this might be our issue right here. Okay. This is not fully tightened down. Whoop. All right. Now let's try the fan blade again, because that's the part that was effed up to begin with. Make sure that's nice and tight too. Okay, it spins. All right, no earth-shattering squeaking, which means I get to reinstall this sucker. Oh. Okay. So this is the point at which I'm gonna take a little break. I'm gonna move the camera again. Oh, and I just found the cover for the... I have a little cover for the camera. It looks like a panda. You just magnet it on, and it was sitting next to the camera the entire time. So par for the course with me, really. Okay, cool. So turns out the fan just needed a little cleaning, and I can reconnect this guy to put it back up there, but I've got to put the controller, like the fan controller portion, back together again, which means disconnecting these 2 wires and reconnecting them to 2 of my wires up there so that I can turn it on and off from down below. But I need to take a little break. I'm sorry, cookies. Maybe that's what I'll work on in a minute. I'm gonna shut left vent fan off of my list, because I did fix it. I just need to finish installing it, which this is usually the point at which I set something aside and then forget to do it for a while. But I'm not going to do that. By the end of this stream sequence, in 32 minutes, I will have that reinstalled properly, be down off of that ladder, and will at least be putting away the tools that I pulled out, because that's the other thing I tend to do, is leave a big old pile of tools out, and then I'm like, I don't remember where that goes. I'll just leave it. and I'll be like, oh, I need the space. So I just set my stuff down on top of that. And then slowly but surely, I build up a pile of tools and stuff. And it's kind of nuts. So I'm going to see if anybody's tuned in for this. Nope. Okay, cool. I honestly don't mind. I would like people to be following along, but at this point, we're just building the muscle memory of having the stream at a certain time every day. Not every day, but like the days that I want to stream. And figuring out camera angles and just all of the like nitty gritty stuff. Audio levels, which I hope have been okay for this. Okay. So something I always forget to do is take breaks while I'm working on stuff, or I'll just keep going, plugging my sockets back into the socket thingy. Very satisfying. Have them all in order. ASMR. Okay. What I actually really need to do is like stretch, which is always annoying. Maybe lift my hands up carefully. Because I decide a bit. I should probably have both my feet down so I'm not misaligning my spine. Do some neck rolls. Other way. Ooh. Okay, there'd be my stretches. I think I'd like stand up and do a like touch my toes bit. Oh. Okay. I was gonna make sure that I fully like roll up my spine instead of just unbending, because then I mess up my lower back, and that is not comfortable. Makes life very difficult. I do probably need more movement than that, but I need to grab a beverage. I am thirsty, and no one's here. I'm gonna keep streaming, but I'm gonna use my little break timer thing for a couple minutes. I'm gonna make a beverage and I'll be right back. Taking a break. There we go. Okay. Oop. Yay! I made a beverage and I fed my cat. Magpie is happier now, I think. Alright, let's see what we've got on the desk. Trying to rehydrate. Those go back. In the living room. Putting away. That's one of the bits. Set of pliers. This has a spot on the wall. This has a spot on the wall. Screwdrivers. It's taken me years to figure out how to most effectively organize all my tools, but now I have to a garbage can. I really am a raccoon. Alright. I rotated. There we go. Rack, go back down there. Put the Q-tips away. Oh, there's the other nasty rag that I'm just tossing in a pile on the floor. Pick those up and put them in the other. They go in the other room. Or they go in the laundry room. I need to put them in the "these rags are dirty" pile. Okay. The focus timer is still in a weird spot where I can't really read it. Okay, time to reinstall the fan. So I'm gonna pop the little cover on the camera. We're gonna shift it and I'll be with you every step of the way. So I'm just here shifting the camera a bit and voila. So the big gap up there is what I'm about to go fill with this freshly cleaned and fixed fan. Oops. Put the gloves back on because it'd be dusty up here. Alright, I want the airflow going that way. So the fan's got an arrow on it. I need the air to move this way so it goes out. I'm sure I've done something inefficient. Fan's got an arrow on it, tells me what direction it needs to go. Getting these things realigned is the most difficult part. Okay, cool. A new tape. Tape of new hope. Okay, this is the really complicated one. Okay, so I need two of these little end caps for the wires to connect it to the switch, which of course I set down over here. Wow, that was the fastest I've ever found parts that I've set down much earlier in the afternoon. So it's hard to see what I'm doing, but I'm twisting together sets of wires that I want connected so that they will work, so that this switch will turn everything on and off instead of me just having to plug in or unplug it all the time. Okay, cool. There's one. As you can probably imagine, it's kind of difficult to do this inside the fan. I only have so much space. There we go. Alright, I think I got a really good connection between these two wires. Okay, this is not just gonna have to decide that it's there we go. Woohoo! before I seal that off, I need to test one more time to make sure that this controller is going to turn the fan on and off. So I'm going to plug it in. Or confirm that it works, and then we're sealing this up. Need that to stay aligned like this. Yay! That's the fan working. Okay, I'm gonna unplug it while I'm working on it just in case. An abundance of caution, or if whatever I'm doing accidentally disconnects the wires and I need to reconnect them, I don't want electricity flowing. Oh, okay. Okay, this one essentially just gets lined up and then stuck back together. It's just kind of how it's operated. As long as the tape seal is good. I'm not very particular about that. Just fine. There we go. Yay! Gonna retape this other side. Okay, taping with these gloves on is not the thing. So I'll just have to brave the dirt and the dust. Okay, so I'm gonna push that back, and I can cast on it now. Hell yeah. Yay. All right. So that works now. I can go back to casting and doing my projects that require and soldering. Like that's the fan I use for soldering to get the nasty soldering fumes out of the studio. So I'm very pleased that that worked out. I hope you have enjoyed the stream. I thought I'd effectively turned that down, but no. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the stream and going through, my scientific process, which is essentially you find a problem, uh, ask some questions about it, pick one, start futzing with it, and then test it. And if it doesn't work, you go about it a slightly different way. Lather, rinse, repeat until hopefully, best case scenario, like we did today, we fix a thing. So, yay! And I didn't have to spend another however much money on Event Fan. I want to say I found them cheaply on the internet for like 25 bucks, all the way up to like 40 at the um, hardware store. So, considering I'm not wanting to support most of the hardware stores right now because we need ice out of all of the cities. Uh, Actually, we need ice not to exist anymore. So yeah, great that I was able to fix this and not have to go and support another large company that's probably funding the forced removal of people from this country who are trying to make a life for themselves. So, cheers to a successful repair. This has been Lindsay, Club Thumb Thumb Club. I need to start bringing that back, turning that into an outro. But yeah, hope you enjoyed and that you'll tune in next time I'm streaming. That's going to be next week on Thursday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And I haven't officially decided what we're going to do, whether I'm going to chat a lot or just work on a thing, but I will see you then either way. Toodles.